This is R2D Tech and we're back again with another video today, this time about the new 27-inch iMac, so stay tuned. Now, Apple have actually given this update a surprising amount of attention. I imagine that's because with the upcoming release of Macs with their own chips inside, they're not expecting to sell too many Macs with Intel chips inside. So we're going to see if it is actually worth waiting to get the Apple Silicon Macs or just buying this one. So we're going to start with the biggest disappointment, and by far that's that there has been no change to the overall design of the Mac. It's been the same design for the best part of 10 years, so it is getting pretty old, to be honest, and it definitely is showing its age. Now, it's a safe guess to say that this is probably going to be the last in the line of this design, because they're probably going to show off their new design in their own Apple Silicon Macs. That is a little bit disappointing, to be honest, because there are so many other Windows options out there with similar prices that have much more modern designs, so it is just a little bit wearing. So we're going to run through the changes and new things Apple have added to this Mac, and firstly we have the display. So first off, Apple have added the option to have the nano texture anti-glare display, which we first saw on the Pro Display XDR. You can have that for an extra £500 if you want it. So actually a cheaper upgrade than on the Pro Display XDR. So that's also a really good thing. The nano texture design means that if you're in a really brightly lit room or next to a window or working in direct sunlight, you will still be able to use the screen relatively easily because it won't show any of the glare, which is a really nice thing. Apple have also added their True Tone technology to this Mac, which means that the colors on the display will change depending on the light in the room you're in. To be honest, that's not such a big feature for me personally, and if you are a content creator, you should actually probably turn that off because it will mess with your color accuracy. Other than that, all the options are still 5K in resolution, and that's probably still good enough for a 27-inch display anyway. Next, moving on to the specs, and Apple have made the jump to 10th generation Intel processors with 6, 8 or 10 core processor options. Apple have also removed all the hard disk drive options for storage, so it's all SSD storage even in the base model. You can also go all the way up to an 8TB SSD if you want to. For RAM, you can choose from between 8 and 128 gigabytes of memory, which is pretty crazy. I imagine only a handful of people would want to use that much anyway. For graphics cards, you can choose from 4 options, either the Radeon Pro 5300, the Radeon Pro 5500 XT, the Radeon Pro 5700 or the Radeon Pro 5700 XT. Another exciting change Apple have made is a move from the 720p camera, which was pretty awful in all the previous generations, to a 1080p camera. I imagine that was inspired by the pandemic because everyone is using their webcams right now to do video conferencing or whatever. So that's another little exciting change that Apple have added. Other than that, everything else has been kept pretty much the same. You're getting the same huge bezels, the same ports with 2 USB-C Thunderbolt 3 ports, 4 USB-A ports, 1 full-size SD card reader, 1 headphone jack, and also up to a 10 gigabit per second Ethernet jack as well. You also get the same options for accessories with the Magic Keyboard, which is pretty comfortable to type on, or as comfortable as any Apple keyboard is. You can also choose between the Magic Mouse 2, which in my opinion is an absolutely awful mouse, or the Magic Trackpad 2. Hopefully with the update to Apple Silicon Macs, we will also get an update to the Magic Mouse. because quite frankly, it is just a terrible design. Now, I realize a lot of people will be asking the question whether to wait for the Macs with Apple Silicon and an updated design or whether to just get this one. What I would say is that if you really don't care about the outdated design, then there is really no reason why you shouldn't get this one instead of the future ARM-based Macs. There should be no difference whatsoever in the user experience, at least for the next 5 or 6 years. We also know that Apple will also be using some Intel chips in their Macs in the next few years, so that should also tell us that they are not giving up on Intel completely. However, if you do care about that updated design, which we should be seeing either at the end of this year or early next year, then you may well want to wait for those Macs instead. Obviously, these Macs are still incredibly expensive machines, and you definitely want to get the best out of the money you're paying. So it's really up to you whether you want to get this one or wait. That's it from this video. If you liked it, please press the thumbs up button. If you loved it, please consider subscribing.